Hi everybody, good morning, good evening. Welcome to the webinar for Disaster Recovery Planning for Enterprise Solutions. Today in this webinar we will be covering the agenda would be a quick introduction about the team who will be presenting this webinar, and then we will talk about briefly about the organization we are coming from, SpadeWorx, and then we will touch upon what type of disaster recovery for enterprise solutions that are being discussed for, and what are the various disaster recovery scenarios, and then we will have a quick demo. Later we will take a question and answer session. So I am Srinivas Pillai. I am leading the Azure practice at SpadeWorx. I have around 60 years of experience in the IT industry, starting from developer to various roles, project management to practice leading and solution architecture as well. I have my colleague Mandar. Mandar Bhargat is the CTO and Director of Product and Services of SpadeWorx. Mandar, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Srini. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you guys. Thanks a lot for joining us today. As Srini said, we are quite excited to present you the importance of disaster recovery in the enterprise application scenario, and how do we really achieve that, and what are the options out there as far as Azure platform is concerned. Srini, I cannot see the slide. I don't know what happened. Did you put that in the presenter mode or not? Srini, I cannot see the slides. Okay, so we are back on. Sorry for the glitch. About SpadeWorx. So we are about a 7 years old organization, and fundamentally our focus is on enterprise solutions. So we have delivered so far close to 150 projects spanning across business process automation, employee engagement, mission critical solutions that run on premise as well as in the cloud online. So our focus has been social workplace enablement, particularly driving the social interaction among the employees vis-a-vis also your extended community ecosystem, including suppliers, distributors, your partners. How do we get them along in the business process and drive the automation to achieve the business goal and objective that you have set up to achieve. We have been working closely with Microsoft since beginning. We have been gold partner since long. I've been working on various technologies, Microsoft technologies such as Azure, SharePoint, Microsoft Mobile, and various other platforms, .NET and so on and so forth. We also do work on Microsoft Dynamics, Microsoft CRM, to give organizations helping them set up put together the line of business applications. While we focus on services and primarily delivering custom applications, custom solutions based on the customer requirements, we do have our own product called IdeaCom that focuses on idea management solution and helping customers establish enterprise scale innovation programs, driving collaboration, communication to drive idea generation and innovation within the organization. That product is built on SharePoint and available on cloud as well as on-premise. Today we are 125 plus employees spread across India, US, United Kingdom, and Singapore. We do have offices in those regions as well as main office in India. We are headquartered in India. We have a large team based here in Pune, where we do development and support activities. Along all these years, we have been acknowledged by various organizations. I've been received several awards, from the government, from the state, as well as from the recognized global organizations such as Silicon India, CIA Review. So it has been quite a bit of journey over the last 7 years, and we are quite excited to work with you guys to take it forward. So now I would explain you what services and what are our offerings in the market. So we, in the application space, as I was describing in the beginning, we do focus on employee engagement and ecosystem that organization typically drives, the extended ecosystem including suppliers and distributors and partners, etc. So specifically we focus on portals, enterprise content management, knowledge management, innovation management, so on and so forth. We have done a lot of work in the BI space, have used on-premise BI technologies as well as technologies available in Azure such as HD Insights and stuff like that to deliver engagements for our customers. Enterprise mobility is another area where we help customers leverage the mobile trends in the market and people and employees bringing in their own devices to access enterprise information, access applications, and we enable companies set that up so their workforce can actually leverage those applications to access it remotely. Enhancement, sustenance, product engineering is focused on where we do help companies such as ISPs, enterprises, after we do deploy their solutions in their environment, we do support them on an ongoing basis where L1, L2, L3 is managed by us, as well as we engage on an ongoing basis enhancing that existing solution. Cloud enablement particularly focuses on we work with customers, they have existing investments in the applications and solutions running on premise, and now they would like to leverage the scale of this cloud pay as you go model, elasticity that cloud offers. So we help these companies re-architect, re-engineer these solutions to suit the cloud architecture and the cloud model. So we help companies build solutions from ground up, including design, architecture, development, deployment in the cloud platform, as well as migration and porting of those existing solutions to suit the cloud architecture. So these are our offerings. I will not take much of your time. Let's jump directly into this topic of the today, which is how do we manage disaster recovery kind of scenarios, particularly focusing on Microsoft Azure. Just before that, one quick slide on the user-centered design approach that we take while we deliver the solution to our customers. We really believe that anything and everything that customers are investing in has to be, the ROI is directly proportionate to the adoption of the solution within the target audience that they are targeting this solution for. So we really focus on user-centric approach while conceptualizing the features, conceptualizing the functionalities, making it very easy to use, intuitive, in a manner that users are finding it very simple to use, and then their task to complete timeline has been drastically reduced. So that's our approach in terms of how do we approach the solution conceptualization, and that's for our key differentiator when we really start designing and developing the solutions for our customers. A quick snapshot of our customers. We are pretty horizontal in nature in terms of whom do we offer our services to. We have worked with large companies in the manufacturing sector, public sector, healthcare and biotech, and various other areas. So this will give you the quick glimpse of who our customers are. There are companies who are Fortune 50. There are companies who are startups. There are companies who are mid-size. So we have experience working with various sizes and various verticals organizations that come from, and then we are able to serve them and leveraging experiences across the board while serving them with our services. So Srini, back to you, and let's get into the solution.
Yeah. Thanks, Mandar. So today's topic, the DR for enterprise solutions. If we see from a enterprise perspective, disaster recovery is one of the key aspects whether organizations give a deep thought or doesn't recognize it as a critical one, because it's like insurance. Since only certain people will be able to recognize the need and the importance of insurance, they go for it. But a lot of people may not really recognize the value of insurance. What we are observing is the organizations, enterprises are slowly understanding the criticality of having a proper disaster recovery planning in place. And in our observation, what we noticed is every organization, enterprise has some level of DR practice already in place. They intentionally do it, or it is by chance it happens, but they have certain amount of disaster recovery already in place. That may be something like a backing up of data manually every now and then. That may not be very structured. It may be very ad hoc. It may be very unstructured way, but they have certain things. Now, what is happening is with the cloud coming in a big way over the last few years, these enterprises may not be really aware how the cloud can be leveraged for DR purposes and what are the real benefits they can exploit by utilizing the cloud as part of their DR planning. And what we noticed is, based on our experience on Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Azure is capable and has built-in functionalities, features that will go very well to provide very efficient and cost-effective DR for enterprises. So that's what we have noticed, and what we strongly suggest the enterprises is to have a look at Microsoft Azure's capabilities and include or consider it as one of the options while doing the DR planning for their enterprises. What we noticed is some of the scenarios typically that are there today in the enterprise setup, and let us consider those scenarios. Scenario one is where the organizations are already adopted Microsoft Azure for some of their solution deployment, where the enterprise already has the solution deployed in some of the virtual machines, and those virtual machines are hosted in Microsoft Azure. So in Microsoft Azure Cloud, the solutions are hosted on VMs, virtual machines. This is the one scenario where though the solution has been hosted, the DR planning is not in place. That is what is scenario one. And the next scenario is where the enterprises are having the solutions, applications hosted on virtual machines, but those virtual machines are residing in their own data centers. their own data centers. It may be hosted within their enterprise, or that may be a private data center somewhere outside. But those are managed by the customer themselves, not they, not by any cloud provider like Microsoft. So that is what is the scenario one, where primarily the solutions are hosted in virtual machines. If you see scenario 3, the solutions hosted in Microsoft Azure data center on cloud instances. They are not as usual virtual machines, but that is a cloud based solution. Cloud based solution, what I mean here is they use the compute instances, they use a Azure SQL database, and they use the storage capabilities of Azure, etc. So that is where the scenario number 3 comes into picture. And scenario 4 is where the solutions are hosted on the enterprise data center directly on the servers without any virtual machines. So this is how we broadly categorize the scenarios in which organizations want to have the DRs. What we noticed is, even though organizations have their solutions in one of the scenarios, they may not be having a specific DR in place, DR being practiced. The good part is, for scenario 1 and scenario 3, Microsoft Azure already has some built-in features for DR, disaster recovery. However, they may not be sufficient for enterprises considering their own data needs or their own availability needs, etc. So now we will talk each scenario, and we will see how from SpadeWorx we feel that as a possible solution that may help customers to come out with appropriate DR, and they may be able to leverage the capabilities of Microsoft Azure to ensure the DR is effective and costly. From cost perspective also it is optimized. So let us take scenario 1. What is happening is, in this, as I said, the virtual machines, the solution is hosted in virtual machines, and what we suggest, because Microsoft is spread across the world, it has various data centers in US multiple zones, in Asia Pacific multiple zones, and in Brazil they recently started. So what we suggest is, you distribute the virtual machines across these data centers and leverage the load balancer capability, the traffic manager, what Azure is called. Take the benefit of traffic manager, so that the traffic manager can be configured in such a way to ensure that in case one instance goes down, the traffic can be routed to the other instance. So we can configure the traffic manager accordingly. This will help how the traffic can be diverted, but at the same time ensuring that in case of any disaster, still the users will be able to access the solution, but at the same time your data will be protected. The key part here is how you will be able to ensure that the data is synchronized. Since the virtual machines are hosted here, what we may need to do is, if the databases are residing in another set of virtual machines, again we need to make sure that those databases are configured for data synchronizations with respect to those virtual machines. That's what we suggest for ensuring that in case of any disaster, your users will be able to access the solution, as well as your data will be safe even though one entire zone goes down. Because the solution is entirely hosted within Microsoft Azure, if US West goes down for any reason, still the users will be able to access the solution either from Asia Pacific East or the instances available in Brazil South. The flip side of this solution is we need to maintain the virtual machine copies on multiple data centers, but uh, that will be beneficial based on the criticality or the importance of the solution, availability, and in case of any disaster recovery. So this is what as a suggested approach to ensure the virtual machine availability and DR in case of any failure at a specific data center level itself. The benefit that Microsoft Azure built in for virtual machines is we need to distribute them across different fault zones and different update zones. So they are available. These are various technical terms which I'm not going in detail because I also want to demonstrate a specific demo for one of the scenarios. So once we configure the virtual machine in such a way that they are distributed across different polygons and upload zones, the Microsoft Azure will automatically take care of certain level of disaster recovery. However, it doesn't address if an entire data center goes down. This structure, whatever that is being shown on the screen, will help even if the entire data center goes down because of various reasons. Still, the users will be able to access the solutions as well as the data which is available on a different data center. That's where we are suggesting this as a guidance for scenario 1, where customers have their solutions hosted in virtual machines in Microsoft Data Center, Azure Data Center. Now, in scenario 2, where virtual machines are deployed in enterprise data center and not on Microsoft Data Center. So, enterprise data center is the primary data center. If you see in the screen that is there, the picture, and the cloud is Microsoft Data Center. Now, what happens in case of the primary site goes down, entire site goes down? Today, as we briefly touched during the initial introduction, if the primary site goes down, the organizers may be having certain backup and restore strategy. It may take few days, few weeks, based on the effectiveness of the organization to bring the data center back. However, we have noticed that even the flash floods or severe power outage in US impacted a lot of organizations to bring back their operations. So what Microsoft Azure is offering as a DR for such scenarios is leverage the Azure Site Recovery capability. Azure Site Recovery is a recent feature that has been rolled out by Microsoft, and what it does is it is like replicating your VMs from your primary data center into Microsoft Data Center, which is shown on the diagram. So you configure the Azure Site Recovery, and that will ensure that your local VMs and related information of those VMs, whether it is storage, whether it is network details, everything will be replicated or onto Microsoft Cloud, which is the DR side. So that's how this functions. However, the key part here is to achieve this level of replication, or we need to have the system-centered VMM, Virtual Machine Manager 2012, available on primary data center as well as on the Azure, Microsoft Azure. Microsoft Azure anyway has, but the important part is even the primary data center should also have the Microsoft System Center VMM configured. Then only this will work. However, since majority of the organizations are leveraging System Center for other management activities, we assume or we understand that that it will be available within those organizations. What happens is even though Microsoft Azure Cloud need not be used as a secondary DR site, you can set up your own secondary DR site, private DR site. Still, you can use Azure Site Recovery for replicating your virtual machines from primary data center to secondary data center. What it means, whether you use Microsoft Azure as your secondary data center, still you can use Azure's capability of the site recovery manager for replicating your VMs from primary data center to secondary data center. In any case, what we suggest is go ahead, leverage the Azure Site Recovery Manager and benefit from the capability so that in case of any disaster, still your VMs are in place and you will be able to get up, make the data center up in few days, if not few weeks or few months. This also ensures that your data is almost like maybe daily, so you will not lose much of your data during the backup, or otherwise if you need to do manual backup and restore, so you may lose the data difference, maybe huge. So our suggestion is if you already have your solutions running on virtual machines, this is one of the classic scenario that can help in making the disaster recovery plan in a very smooth and integrated manner. Of course, these VMs need not be only Windows virtual machines. It can be a Linux or any other operating system that are supported by Windows Azure. So Windows Azure supports various operating systems. So don't limit that virtual machines has to be Windows operating system only. That is the benefit of Azure Site Recovery Manager capability that is launched by Microsoft. Then third scenario, what we understand is organizations are slowly moving from having solutions hosted on their environment, their data centers, to Microsoft Azure or Amazon Cloud or any other such cloud offerings. If the solutions are developed and deployed on Microsoft Azure data center, so what may happen is the solutions leverage certain capabilities of Azure, like the cloud compute instances or the blob or Azure SQL database capabilities, or there may be certain other capabilities like what we can say as queues and topics, which are for publisher subscriber type of model, and various capabilities that are offered by Microsoft Azure. So these are all the various capabilities that Microsoft Azure offers. But let us assume the solution is hosted in one data center like US West, where the solution is deployed on two instances. It uses a blob storage and it is using Azure SQL database. Let us assume if that site goes down, there is no way that the customers will be able to ensure a disaster recovery or continuity of access to the solution. Now, what we propose as a DR plan for such solutions is have set up another instance in a different data center, something like Asia Pacific East. You deploy the solution again on the second data center also, and leverage the capabilities of Azure, which is called SQL Data Sync. And you also have either some custom development like blob sync, which will synchronize the storage between the two data center, two deployment instances. So what will happen is this structure will make sure that the database is synchronized. There can be certain rules that we can set up. What is the frequency of data sync, what type of tables that we want to sync, or is it only the differential sync, etc., etc. And the blob sync is a custom service that we can develop. And again, the custom development can be very specific and differential rather than the whole copy from one instance to other instance every time. And what we need to do is, once this second disaster site, DR site, is set up, configure the Azure Traffic Manager where the second DR site can be configured to address the requests, respond to the requests only in case the primary site is down. So if US West entire site is down for various reasons, Azure Traffic Manager detects and it will route those requests onto Asia Pacific East instance. So what will happen is users will be seamlessly pointing to the DR site. They are able to access the solution, but at the same time, because of the data synchronizations and the storage synchronizations that we have kept in place, they will be able to access the data as if they are accessing the primary site. As I said earlier, the important parts that we need to make sure is the frequency of data sync. We cannot make it every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes. Of course, if it requires, we will do it, but every such transactions or etc. will have a cost impact. So we need to cautiously identify the way that we need to synchronize and how much latency or data loss can the organization withstand. So based on that, we need to come out with those rules and make sure that the configurations have been made appropriately. So this is how we feel or we suggest that a DR plan for solutions which are hosted on Microsoft Azure can leverage. Scenario 4, we tried to put together a suggested approach. However, what we noticed is that becomes very complicated considering the individual requirements of each organization, where how the DR has to be done, leveraging the Azure's capabilities. So we did not put any specific guidance for a DR planning for solutions deployed on Enterprise DC, because it requires some deeper understanding on the solution, the solution deployment structure, the DR needs, and what components need to be planned for disaster recovery, what components need not be planned for disaster recovery, etc. So that's where we feel that there is a deeper analysis and deeper understanding of those solutions deployed in Enterprise DC for coming out with a appropriate DR plan. So that's where we did not put a guidance here. But if you see the previous 3 scenarios, they are almost like provides not only the DR, but they also provide availability as well as addressing any performance needs. That is what is the key benefit of the guidance that is provided in the previous 3 scenarios. So I will have a quick demo now for the scenario 3, where we have put up an application. How the application behaves is, we developed a small demo ASP.NET web application, and it is hosted in 2 regions. We hosted this in Southeast Asia as well as North Europe data centers. So the same application is deployed on both the data centers, and the database also has been maintained at both the locations, and we also have storage at both the locations. What we did was we have configured Azure Traffic Manager to point to both these endpoints. I mean Southeast Asia endpoint and North Europe endpoint. So the primary data center is North Europe and the secondary data center is Southeast Asia. What does it mean? It means if North Europe goes down, users will be able to access the solution from Southeast Asia, and they will be able to see the data that is there in North Europe as is on Southeast Asia also, because we configured the Azure Data Sync capability. We also similarly have this custom service which will synchronize the blob or the storage containers between the two data centers. That's what we have set up for this demo, and I am going to demonstrate that this application. So give me a second and settle it. The demo. Yeah, so I hope you are all able to see the screen where I have this initial web application which is being dr demo atm.trafficmanager.net. This is the URL which is configured for accessing from the traffic manager, and the second URL where I am accessing the web application is N Europe DR demo, which is the North Europe data center, and the third one is South Asia DR demo. So basically, I just want to show that if you access the application, it is the same UI that will be visible for you because we have configured the traffic manager and the individual applications in such a way. So now I am logging into the traffic manager configured website. So if you see, it is pointing to the Singapore instance. So the DR demo is pointing to the Singapore instance where we are able to configure the primary data center as Singapore. Now let me show you what is there in Singapore data center also. See, the data between Singapore data center and the Azure traffic manager, both are one and the same. Let me see what is there in North Europe data center. Again, it is the same. So as of now, the data among all the three is the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the data in North Europe data center, and we will see what happens when I see the data in the other data center. So I'm going to register some users in North Europe data center. So I'm registering user 1, successfully added, and I'm registering another user. So I added second user, and I am going to add another user here, which is so I added third user. So I added 3 users in North Europe data center, and let us see. So I have all the 3 users on Europe instance, but I don't have those users on, you see, they are replicated. They are replicated. Now Tanya and Dheeraj have updated, but we have still one more person who is Chantua, and that is also updated. Why? Because of the frequency. By the time I entered the first 2, the frequency schedule happened between the 2, and the data has been replicated. Whereas the other third entry that I made, Chantua, the frequency of scheduler had crossed, so that data has not yet been updated into Singapore data center. And let us see, wait for a couple of more minutes, where even the third data entry also gets synchronized between Singapore and the main North Europe data center. So it is still taking time. So what happens? Basically, what we did was we configured the Azure's traffic manager for redirecting the traffic in case of any failure to redirect that. But at the same time, we also have made the data sync in such a way that it synchronizes the data between both the databases. So that's how we configured. So you see, this is where the data sync that we created, and based on the configuration, it does the synchronization between the 2 instances. So this is how we have achieved between the databases. And when we configure the synchronization, we can set the frequencies, etc. But at the same time, it also have a cost impact. So please be aware while configuring the Azure data sync setup on what frequencies it should be configured, etc. So this is what I just want to demonstrate. I wanted to show you how the blob storage synchronization happens, but I noticed there are some issues that I came across with the blob storage synchronization between the 2 instances. But essentially, that's how even blob synchronization also works, where it will replicate the data between the 2 instances. So that's where with respect to the demo is, and now I'm going back to the presentation. So I'm open to questions. You can ping me for any questions for a few minutes. Well, if there are no, I don't see any questions, then I'm moving on to the next in the slide, which is about a quick summary of the demo and the overall DR. So Microsoft Azure offers multiple options for the DR, where you can leverage the traffic manager, you can leverage the Azure Site Recovery Manager capability, or you can leverage the Azure Data Sync capability for synchronizing as well as making a DR and available of the solutions. So that is the key point that we want to share with you. So the guidance that is given in this session can help you to come out with various plans, or you can also approach us if you need some more guidance on how to achieve better DR. Yes, definitely we can. So why SpadeWorx? Just want to quickly touch upon what Mandar had initially told. SpadeWorx is agile and energetic in addressing the customer needs. Though it is 7 years old, we are still working in a startup mode type of a enthusiasm, and we deliver solutions in a very agile manner. And the user-centered approach, which is the trademarked process, user-centered software engineering, UCSE, and that's where customers will really benefit, and a lot of customers have already appreciated the solutions that have been delivered so far. And we have a bank of reusable assets based on our experience with various customers and development of various solutions, and those reusable assets can be leveraged across other projects for expediting the project as well as reducing the cost. And the Customer University is a unique program that we can have there long-term large projects where the knowledge is being transitioned properly, and appropriate training has been given to the user, the developers, so that the customer requirements have been met, aligning with the business goals. So that's where we conduct the Customer University program for a specific large application development projects that we do, or support projects that we work with customers. And we are open to engage in a flexible manner with customers, whether it is a fixed price, whether it is a time and material, or on-site, off-site hybrid models. We come out with various models based on the customer needs, as well as what really benefits the customer, as well as the success of the engagement. So we are open and we are flexible in engaging with the customers. And we have the IP protection framework in place that will help customers' IP to be protected, ensuring that the intellectual property is not breached. So we have the necessary NDAs in place. Also, we have necessary infrastructure rules or guidelines in place. That's where SpadeWorx differentiation comes, and we look forward to help you in any kind of VR planning or any other solutions, Microsoft Azure or any ASP.NET solutions, or even SharePoint solutions and mobility. Thanks a lot for all your time. Please contact as per the mail IDs that have been mentioned in your webinar invitation. Thanks for your time.